Hello there guys, Feng here, and welcome to Thea, The Awakening. Okay then, so Thea The Awakening is a 4X strategy simulation roguelike survival game with some card game elements. Yes, it's a bit of a mouthful, isn't it? And it's kind of an odd mix match, but you know what? It's actually kind of cool. Really enjoying my time with this so far. I do apologise for the lack of content over the past few weeks. For those of you that haven't watched the channel updates, I've been really ill, and you know I've only been really feeling better the past couple of days. So I feel great today. So I thought, well, let's do some content while I've got time. So let's do that. Okay, so the game is in early access. It's by MuHa Games, and there will be bugs, as you can see there. This is an early access version. Expect bugs. So yeah, you've been told by the developers to expect bugs, not just me. So you got double told. Yeah. Okay, now I did actually record some content on this a few weeks back, but unfortunately, with that particular version, there was a lot of balancing issues. Kind of the way that gathering works. We'll talk about that when we actually go into the game a bit later. But I've decided to wait until now. The balancing has been rectified. It's very balanced at this point. Kind of balanced, I should say, but it's fairly balanced. Okay, so settings menu, because why not? Okay, so not much of a settings menu, but then again, it's a turn-based game, so, you know, don't know what you're expecting. But as you can see, we've got video options, we've got ambient occlusion, anti-aliasing and V-sync. I always take these off because I never like them kind of effects. But we've got map quality on high, we've got music. The music in the game is actually really good. I love the music. Even though there's only a few tracks, it's really good. But YouTube being YouTube and all, and liking to basically copyright any type of music that it plays on anyone's channel, yeah, that's the reason why we haven't got no music on. So I apologise for that, but blame YouTube. And obviously all these other ones, we've got gameplay stuff here, we've got the card animation, time and stuff, basically quality of life stuff. So yeah. Fantastic. Now, there's actually a reset profile here. The reason for that is the game actually has a progression system which is very unlike strategy games, especially even roguelikes even. A lot of roguelikes, you know, once you die, you don't really carry anything on. Some do. They tend to be called roguelites, but yeah, some do. This one does as well, to some extent. So let's crack on with a game, shall we? Okie dokie. Starting a new game will overwrite your save game. Are you sure you want to continue? This will trigger a summary of progress from previous games. So this is how the progression system works. So whatever you've done in the previous game, obviously if you get wiped, then obviously you get to this screen. But you can actually choose to end the game early, which is really unusual. And depending on what you've done, you actually gain points. Experience towards a certain god. So let's go ahead and just say that. Okay, that's fine. So here's our god. I don't know. I'm actually called gods. I'm being stupid now, aren't I? I forgot what they're called. Yeah, it is gods. I thought I was right. Okay, so right at the start of the game, you get access to 2 random gods from these. Is it 6? Yeah, these 6. So as you can see, we've got Veles and Zoira. As you can see, I've actually gained quite a bit of experience from the last game, and I've actually got the second level of this particular god, which gives all our villagers get a +2 bonus damage and range damage. So obviously each individual god is revolved around a certain playstyle. So for example, Zoira is revolved around combat, whereas Veles is revolved around preservation and stuff like that. Really cool. So we are going to go with Zoira. We've actually got quite a nice bonus to armor and damage and main damage there, so that's fantastic. One of the new things that came in with this version as well is the ability to customize difficulty. So I think we can do that, and then we'll talk about stuff. So these are the presets, and we can customize well. So I'm going to stick it on normal. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and have world size on normal. Actually, no, we won't. We'll have it on small. It is a YouTube video after all. World progression snail. We'll go with normal. Economy. I think we'll go normal as well. Challenge difficulty novice. Let's go for let's go for novice because I'm a dumbass. Enemy aggressiveness. Stick with normal. Starting images. They were the same with that. Reshuffles. That's for the combat. I'm going to go ahead and put paid. Or actually none. Let's go with none. That's even better. Saves. Now, yeah, this is kind of this was actually something that was talked about a lot on the forums. About the game doesn't really have a save system. It only has an auto save system when you leave, and it had its own auto save system that auto saves every 5 minutes or so. But I'm actually going to take these off to make it more roguelike-y. Yeah. So we've actually got quite a decent multiplier. So this multiplier is how much experience you'll gain at the end. We need to focus our village on certain things. So we can either focus on warriors, gatherers and craftsmen. Normally I'll go with gatherers because gathering is so important early game. Extremely important. So we're going to go with gatherers. And we're going to play. Yay, we're actually going to play the game. Fantastic. Brilliant. Oh, got a nice barocca here. Fantastic. Nummy. And there is a bit of a load time, as you can tell. I don't really want to pause the video because the last time I did that, it did something weird and it actually unclipped. So I don't really want to do that. There we go. And we're in. Now, the game is somewhat story-driven. But for the sake of this particular playthrough, we're not going to read through the story much. We'll probably just skim read it. So this is just the introduction. We're going to skip the tutorial because I already know what we're doing. So yeah, one of the first things we need to try and do is craft 10 cooked, baked or roast food and leave it in the village. That's pretty easy to do. And of course we automatically gain some experience and some research points, which we'll talk about in a bit. So, welcome to the game. This is the UI. It's actually kind of clean, and I absolutely love this. I love the graphics in this as well. It's really, really nice. Okay, so what we're going to do. So up here, you can see what day we're on. So that's basically turns, yeah. And you can see what type of day it is. So daytime is there. Then there's obviously daytime, dawn, dusk and night. It does actually have a massive effect on gameplay what time of day it is. Obviously a lot of dangerous stuff comes out at night and it's a lot more hard to see. There is actually one certain god that revolves around darkness though, so they actually gain bonuses when it's dark, whereas the majority of the other gods tend to get weaker when it's night time, or don't have any bonuses whatsoever. Okie dokie then. So we've got a portrait of the god that we are, that we're aspiring to. We can actually rename this so that we can rename this Fengtropolis. There we go. Fantastic. Now, unlike most strategy games, you only get access to one town. This is it. This is the only town that you get. Yeah. So I mean, in most of the strategy games, you're supposed to expand. Most of the strategy games, you're supposed to expand into to more areas and make more towns or bases, etc., etc. In this, it kind of doesn't work like that. Instead, what you have to do is you have to make expeditions, which is what this is here, and expeditions can make camp. And then they have the circle of influence, which is if we click on this, as you can. Oh come on! Don't be a dickhead. Why is he being a dickhead? Hang on. I know why. Let me click. What the fuck? Why won't it let me? There we go. So we double click it. Okay. So yeah, this has actually changed with this particular version. You used to be able to. There used to be a circle that you could change, like this one. This one's got a no, it hasn't got a circle. Oh, they must have completely changed the interface for that. That's interesting. Oh, they have changed the interface now. That is weird. Wonder what I've done there. Oh, okay, you right-click it now. Ah, I see. See, look, this was just newly updated today as well with some certain things. So, right-clicking it will bring up the circle. It still doesn't bring up this circle. There, here it does. There we go. So, as you can see, we've got this ring of influence here. So, in this ring of influence is where we can gather stuff. So, as you can see, we can gather some vegetables right there, and we can gather some wood right there. That's pretty basic. Normally, when you first start, you will always get access to at least one food source and one wood source. However, the wood source isn't always necessarily normal wood. It'll actually sometimes be a special type of wood which you won't actually have access to until you research it, which we'll talk about in a bit. So yeah, what you can do is you can get expeditions, you can make camp, and that will also give you a ring of influence where you can gather and harvest with your expedition. So you can still kind of expand, but it's not permanent, if you get what I mean. Okay, so the game is heavily revolved around survival. So what we're going to do first is I need to get used to right clicking it now. We need to go ahead and I need to left click it. That is really weird. That is really weird. So we need to go ahead and put our expedition in there. So everyone's in there. Everyone is in there in our town. So what we need to do now is basically remake the expedition. I like to do that because I like to have a certain amount of particular skilled people to have the expedition with. So we should automatically start off with one hunter, 2 warriors, a lot of gatherers, and also sometimes a few sages, and if we're very lucky, a medic. So I'm just very quickly looking to see if we have a medic, which it doesn't look like we have. So it's weird, it's pretty random. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. I notice you don't really get a medic as much since an update a couple of weeks back. So what we're going to do is we're going to put our hunter, one of our gatherers, this one's got a gathering of 6, that's actually a pretty decent gatherer, we'll take him. We'll take our 2 warriors. There we go. So our 2 warriors have got decent equipment from what I can tell. That's a nice crossbow. Well, sort of. It's decent-ish. You've got a 2-hander and stuff. So as you can see, each individual character has got a weight limit. Depending on what you equip and how heavy the stuff is. If you go over the equipment weight, then you'll be encumbered and you won't be able to move. Or at least I think you'll only be able to move 1 square or something like that. So yeah, even if only one party member is encumbered, you'll still only be able to move 1 square. So it's best to make sure that you've accounted for that. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is just have a look at what equipment we've got. Okay, so we've actually got a few shields. Maybe I should equip you with the shield, possibly. If you can carry it, which you can probably carry that one. So you carry that one. That's fine. We've got 1 shield, and we've actually got... That's actually decent armor. Where's one? So yeah, let's actually give you that armor. There we go. Fantastic. I think maybe we can give you the other armor. It's probably over here now. Can we? Yeah, we can. Fantastic. Actually, our other warrior might do with that armor, actually. So there's a lot of management in this game. A lot of management. In fact, majority of the game is management. So, you know, you gotta bear that in mind. Okay, now we need to make sure we've got enough food to accommodate our expedition. Now, I like to make sure we've got 10 turns worth. So what you can do now is if you look at the supplies. So this is the supplies of the town. So as you can see, we've got 25 turns worth of food and 15 turns worth of fuel. Currently we've got 0 for the expedition. So if we go ahead and did I just really cancel that like a dumbass? Oh, we can. Oh no, this is nice. We didn't have this before. We had to kind of guesstimate with this. But since we've now got this is fantastic. I'm going to go ahead and go for 40. So that should be 10 turns worth of food. Even though it's not saying it for some silly reason. Maybe that's changed as well. I have no idea. And we need normal woods. Let's go ahead. I'm only going to take... You're about to list... Yeah, just go ahead and do it. It's fine. Just do it. Just do it. And that's just moved all over, isn't it? For fuck's sake. It's a bit cumbersome at times. There we go. So we should have enough there. So we'll create the expedition. You're not adding any food into Explorer's inventory. Yes, I have. It's right there. It's done that before. So, as you can probably tell if we go there, yeah, we've got 10 turns worth of food and 10 turns worth of fuel. Fantastic. So before we get our expedition to do anything at all, we need to start gathering stuff. So this is how it works. Depending on what skills your actual villagers have, it will depend on where you stick them. So, for example, for gathering stuff, you'll want a villager with a high gathering skill. So, currently, our gatherers aren't exactly skilled at gathering, to be quite honest. They're only at 4 and 4. So, for example, this piece of wood here, if we was to start gathering that, we for every time we get 60 progression, we get 7 lots of wood. So, as you can see, because we've got 4 gathering, means we'll be doing 40 progression per turn. So it'll take 2 turns for us to get 7 wood. Yeah? Fairly simple? It should be. So I'm going to go ahead and stick you there since you've got only 3. And that will make... That's close to making it up. I mean, it's still going to be 2 turns. So in fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and stick another 40 there. So there is diminishing turns in the game by the look of it. I didn't think... It didn't used to be, I don't think. What used to happen is you'd have to choose what resource you'd want, and each villager would go and get that resource independently. Now it actually works as a group, so it's a nice quality of life change, but it's also a slight nerf in some respects. So I'm going to go ahead and get you, and not you. Actually, yeah, because we only really need 1 craftsman available. That's actually really unfortunate. Okay, let's get you as well then. So we'll be getting 14 vegetables per turn and 7 wood per turn. Fantastic. We need wood to survive and we need food to survive, so that's good. Now we also need to start crafting stuff. Now we need to start crafting stuff so that we can gain research points and of course make better equipment. As you can see, we haven't got enough resource to do basically any of these. We might have enough resource to make some cloth stuffs, although I might not waste materials just yet on that. We'll see. That will give us a nice silk tunic, but it's not particularly great. I'm going to leave that for a bit. So this particular dude is just not going to do anything for a turn. That's fine. That's perfectly fine. Okay, so here's your research points. Now with these, you actually gain these by crafting, combat, and stuff like that. So what we're going to do now is we're going to have a quick look around and see what we can find. So there's actually fruit and meat here. Now that would actually be quite nice. So I think what I'm going to do is we're going to get our expedition to start walking over here, like so. We might not be able to set up a camp just yet because, yeah, we can't set up a camp. We've run out of move space. So I'm going to end the turn. There we go. We still got a research. Oh no, we've got a research, but we'll talk about that in a bit. But what I want to do is, I'm still not used to right-clicking that to do that. We're going to set up a camp. There we go. For some reason, we actually are not in that influence. Now, that is unusual. That's new. Used to still be able to gain that particular influence there, so that's really weird. Oh dear, one of my warriors and my thing isn't a gatherer. This might complicate things a little bit. Only a little bit though. As you can see, they will naturally gain gathering as they gather anyway, so it's going to be 2 turns and 2 turns. Okay, so they should be okay for about 4 turns. Maybe even 8 turns actually before they need to go back to get fuel from the wood. So that's fine. Okie dokie. So I'm not gonna end turn yet actually. We're gonna get our crafter to start crafting food, cooking meals. So we've got some meat there, we've got some veggies there, and of course we've got our normal wood there. So there we go. We've got that. I'm going to go ahead and start making, I think we'll go to 10 lots of meat stew. So it does make 8 meat stew. with everyone. So as you can start, so that should make 80 meat stews. But it's also going to use 10 times the amount of resources. So we're going to need obviously 20 meats and 20 vegetables and 20 wood. But the wood will come soon enough anyway, so that's no big deal. And now we're going to end the turn. So the first few, kind of the first day, is mainly focused around just trying to survive, and then crafting better stuff. Okay, so as you can see, we've got a few found a few enemies here, which we need to be careful of, really, especially since we don't have a medic. But they are only one skull, so they're not very difficult. It's usually around about night time when they start attacking. A lot of them are very passive, but not always, as you'll probably soon see. Some of these will start getting a bit bitey soon, possibly. Okay, 8 turns. This should start warning me soon that there's low fuel, I should say, and that's kind of what I'm waiting for. Okay, so the food's been done. That's fantastic. Is there anything we can make? No, we still can't really make anything. We haven't really gathered anything. So now I'm going to go ahead and make some different types of food. I'm going to go ahead and make a bigos instead. Now there is actually quite a huge advantage to having different varieties of food. If a expedition or a town has different varieties of food, they gain some significant bonuses for having those. For having a varied diet. So it's definitely worthwhile trying to accomplish that if you can, which is the reason why we're obviously trying to get so many different types of foods. In fact, how close are we now to running out of fuel? We are very close, but we've got a decent amount of meat and we've got a decent amount of fruits. That's fantastic. I'm going to go ahead and break camp. Now, what I could do is I could actually show the combat. Should I put a cut? I'm not going to put a cut in here. We're going to show the combat off. Now, I'm not a fan of the card combat, to be quite honest. But there is an option to skip combat. But just for the sake of the video, I'm going to go ahead and play the first combat, the card game. But from then on, I'm going to go ahead and just auto-resolve it. So, best way to slay a beast is eye to eye fight. Okay. So it shows you the challenge, it shows you what you've got to defeat. Also shows you what skills you need in this challenge. As you can see, we need offense and defense, and we've got various different weapon effects as well. So yeah, and we'll be in combat. Okay, so this is the preparation phase. Player's turn. So we've got our 2 warriors. Well, in fact, they're not quite warriors. We've actually got... Yeah, we've got one more in, we've got the hunter. I know how to play it, go away. So we get to play first. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go ahead and play my... have we got... we don't, that's a shame. Depending on different skills that your actual villagers have got, depends on what skills you'll use when they're in the tactics deck. So this is the tactics deck, and this is obviously your actual attacking deck. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and use a nebula for the first one, and we'll skip because I want to see what the opponent plays. So you do have a certain amount of actions per turn. Now I might skip again, possibly. Yeah, I'm going to skip again and wait to see what he plays. Another bat, yeah, that's fine. And another bat, that's fine. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to play my hunter. Should I play my hunter? Just thinking. Yeah. And I'm going to go ahead and confuse that particular bat. That's going to make it so... Oh, I can't. Shit. Can't do it. I've got to wait next turn. God damn it. So yeah, it's going to confuse that bat instead. That's fine. So I'm going to confuse that. Oh no, that's confused that one for some reason instead of that one. I don't know why. And that one's going to confuse that one, which I can't do yet because I need to end turn. But confusing bats is pretty effective. Some of them even come into play confused, so that's fantastic. Basically, they skip the turn, so it mitigates damage. And there we go. So now we're going to end, and this is where the fight phase comes into play. So obviously he kills him, he hits him, he kills him. Now I'm probably going to get hit here. No, maybe not. Fantastic. So fight phase 2. So we actually didn't take that much damage from that, which is fantastic. You want to try and mitigate as much damage as possible. As you can see, fairly simplistic. Usually when you win as well, you usually gain stuff like food and items. So as you can see, we've got bird meat here. We've got 1 bird meat, which is pitiful. But we've also gained experience and research points, so you can't really grumble at that. Okay, so let's... oh, we're actually not going to make it now, so we're going to have to wait till the next turn. Oh, okay, so now we've got crazy bees. I'm going to go ahead and auto-resolve this. There we go, you've run the... Auto-resolve does seem to be pretty good. It used to be terrible at one time, just playing auto-resolve. Used to get damaged a lot, but the AI for it seems to be a hell of a lot better now, so that's good. So I'm going to go ahead and let them join. So they got all their goodies inside the town now, and now we can focus on making some different types of meals. So, well, not necessarily different types of meals, but more meals, which will be good in the long run. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Now, obviously, I'm not going to be able to make this just yet because my crafter is still crafting that, but we'll leave it at that for the time being. That's fine. Okay, so the next thing I want to focus on is what kind of resources we really need. I mean, as you can see, there's plenty of wood. We don't really need wood per se. So now we're gonna get now we're gonna go to the research tab. Okay, so research is pretty in depth actually. As you can see, we've already got access to most of the basic resources. We can see these resources on the map, and we can gather them. Yeah, but normally you couldn't see any resource on the map if you haven't researched them yet. So as you can see, if I was to go, for example, for this one here, steel, so I wouldn't be able to find this in the world. Possibly I'll get it as loot, but I wouldn't be able to harvest it as a resource. Once you've researched it, it gives you a certain amount of that particular resource in your inventory. I think it's 5. It did used to be 10 at one time. But you get 5 units, and it also shows you one place where it can be gathered. Doesn't mean it's the only place it can be gathered. It just shows you, it tries to show you the closest place, but that's not always the case. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to see what we actually need. Now I think I want to make some more gathering tools, really, because our gatherers aren't particularly skilled. So if I go ahead and see what I need for gathering tools, not craft tools, sorry, gathering tools. I think it's this particular resource here. So I think we're going to need that kind of resource. Now, even though it shows you that particular kind of resource, it's not necessarily that particular kind of resource you need. It's the same kind of resource tree that you can use. Obviously, the rarer that particular resource, the more better it will be. So as you can see, for the string one, I can actually go ahead and use string, or I could use spider silk. Spider silk is a lot stronger than string, so it's going to end up being a much more better quality item. Same with leather. As you can see, I've got normal leather. That's the most bog standard leather, but the fair leather is much more durable and stuff, and offers better protection. Fairly straightforward, yeah? Fantastic. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and research. We've got either wicker or cane. Possibly cane or wicker. Let's go for wicker. So we ultimately gain 5 of that resource, and we get access to knowing where it is. Oh, it's right there. That's fantastic. That is really close. In fact, I could gather 3 different types of resources there. That's fantastic. Okay. So now that we know that it's right there, we could even go ahead and actually trigger this event as well. There is random events in the game. We haven't actually come across one yet, which is really unusual because there's normally the very first event you get is the Hangman. And that usually comes on the first day, which we haven't actually got yet, so I'm a bit Bit surprised at that. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and form our expedition again. So we're going to go ahead with you, and you. There we go. That's our expedition done. We're also going to go ahead and get some wood. I think this time we can probably get away with 20 lots of wood, like so. And we can probably get away with, if we've got 20 lots of wood, let's go ahead and take 31 meat. Yeah, 31 vegetables, why not? 30 fruit. We'll take 24 of those, and we'll take all those. Why not? There we go. So we've got 5 different variety of food, and I think if we were to click, I'm trying to think which one it is. It's not that. Okay, never mind. Yes, I have added food in their inventory, you dumbass. That might be a bug, actually. So if we were to go to the inventory, as you can see here, it's not actually. It's not inventory, is it? It's huh. Yeah, that's weird. They've took the they've took that off. Huh. That's weird. There used to be a button here that you can check to see the bonuses for the variety of diet. That is really weird. Why is that not there no more? Very weird indeed. Managed to. Oh, here we go. So they've put it onto a new tab. Okay. So as you can see, we've got 5 different food varieties. So we get +1 to health, +1 to will, +1 to defense and dexterity, and we also get +1 to movement speed, which is actually probably one of the more important ones. Being able to move a lot further per turn is obviously fantastic. But of course, you get huge bonuses for getting all the way up to 10, which is great. Okay, so I think what we'll do now is we'll go ahead and come over here. We're going to go ahead and explore this ruin. But we're not going to do it this episode, we'll do it next episode. So I'll see you next time, guys.